This conference will now be recorded.
Well, now we're recorded. Now we're on the record.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, welcome, folks. Welcome to our third episode of Stump the Chumps with your SWUGN champions. There's half the champion team here tonight. So we'll just kind of quick introduce ourselves. I'm Eric Beatty. I'm with the Seattle area SolidWorks user group, and I'm one of your champions, and I'll hand it over to my fellow champions. Oh, there I am. There I am. Yeah, that startled looking doofus is me right there, you know. Okay.
All right.
How about you, Cam?
Yeah, I'll go next. Hey, there I am. Yeah, so my name's Cam Smith. I'm a certified SolidWorks expert. I'm a mechanical engineer for the Department of the Army, and I work at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. That's why I created the APG, or Aberdeen Proving Grounds SolidWorks User Group, a few years ago. I am a Model Mania geek, so I'm all about doing it fast and dirty. And I'll let you finish the joke in your head. And
Terrible. Yeah, so I'm Dan Herzberg. I run the Boston SolidWorks user group. Have for about 5 years now, maybe more. Right now I work at Goddard Technologies, and I work with Amazon Robotics very closely for the last year or so. Yeah, and this was my little quarantine brain fart that turned into a pretty rousing success thanks to the rest of these guys. I want to thank you guys very much.
Awesome.
Yeah. Take a bow.
Oh, shucks. Oh, shucks. And our other three chumps that currently aren't here, I believe Todd Blacksher from SWUGN, the SolidWorks user group in Nebraska, and he's also the father of Slug Me, the SolidWorks largest user group meeting ever event that'll be we'll be holding the fifth one of that just about a month from now on November 17th. Todd should be joining us in a little bit. And then our other two champions are Glenn LePage also from one of the Massachusetts user groups. Glenn's from the Central Mass
Central
one.
Mass.
And then Dan Antonavich from the Long Island, New York user group is our sixth champion. And
There's Todd.
he's
What's up?
Hey,
welcome.
hey,
Just
the
in time for
Toddster's
your intro.
here. Todd. And then my
What
best
is
Norm
happening?
Cheers voice.
Sound off, son.
Yeah, so Todd, we're us champions. We're just introducing ourselves, and Dan wrapped up. So, why don't you just say a little bit about yourself, and then we'll rock and roll.
Alrighty. I don't know what to say. Dan just took my old job, so it's called picking who you want to succeed or take over.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sorry. I just got home from work and have been just on the go, so I'm just trying to wind into this. So used to run the SolidWorks user group of Nebraska, been on SolidWorks for 18 years or something like that, been in the user group community for probably 15 or 16. That's me. I do a lot of work with sheet metal. I work at a big sheet metal fabricator, and I don't know. Let's just get going, and I will think of stuff as soon as I, consume some thinking fluid.
All right on.
I love
Awesome.
it.
All right. Yeah, so we will definitely get started with the questions we've received in advance. But if you guys have additional questions that pop into your head as we go, feel free to put them in the chat or shout them out during a lull. And we're just going to kind of make this, as usual, very informal and informative. So here goes.
Yep.
Oh, here's how you ask questions. Send it to the chat. We will talk to you, and it'll all be good. Alrighty. We got this first question about a section view that isn't sectioning on this very interesting kind of worm gear looking part.
Yeah, this was pretty crazy. Is Alan? I'm scanning the browser here. Is Alan here yet? Alan Vistassian from one of the user groups. He submitted this to our SWUGN.chumps@gmail earlier today, or actually, Cam, this what came in yesterday or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a common Gmail address that we all look into, and Cam saw this one and he through our Twitter DM he said, you know, we got this one coming. He goes, I think I'll just spectate on this one here. So being the Yahoo that I am, I said, oh, let me take a look at this here. So yeah, so again, this came from Alan Vistassian. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Let me look here. Let's see which monitor I want to use on this one. Okie doke. Let me move my preview screen over here. Okay, so yeah, this is one crazy part here. I'm going to go ahead and open it up here. I'm actually going to open up my failed attempts first here. Well, actually, hold on. Yeah, let me actually open up Alan's drawing he sent us here. Sorry about that. I should have had Okay, so if we open up this part here, he did this in 2019 version, but basically it looks like it's some type of auger shaft or roller or something, but it's got this here. We'll just kind of trip through the thing there. So basically it's a rolling pin, and they swept a cut along there. There's some fillets on the end. Patterned it. And basically added plain, just basically added some flaps for probably a set screw or a keyway or something there. Yeah, so that's and basically from this top plane this is from one of his co-workers here. Basically wants a section view through there, and it's just not getting it. And so yeah, I mean that's the message he gets there, that it can't be properly sectioned. So of course I did the usual things. You know, I looked at, you know, is the cutting plane line, you know, did he use the section view tool, or did somebody just sketch the line and maybe not get it in there? But yeah, that should just be a big old flat broad plane there, and nothing's happening. So
By the way, Eric, Alan popped in. He's here now. So if Alan,
Hey.
if you want to comment at any point, just unmute yourself and chime in.
Yeah, Alan, we're just getting started here. So I don't know when you popped in, Alan. So I just did a trip through the feature manager tree to take a look at how this was built here. So again, like I said, I played around with it a bit this morning and was brainstorming. So again, got a couple versions here. And so, right off the bat, I thought, okay, it's not showing up as a section view in the drawing. Let's see if it shows up as a section view in the model with the section view tool. So, I clicked the section view tool. I'm thinking, oh, this is looking encouraging.
Oops.
Or not. So I thought, okay, visually, it's not doing that. So again, can I really, slice it? So I thought, okay, let me just try using, the split feature here and just, bandsaw that sucker right down the middle. But no. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I am 0 for 2 now. Let's try and go for 0 for 3. So I thought, okay, well, maybe this is a step backward, but I drew a big old long sketch line across the right plane here. So I said, well, if I can't split it with the plane, maybe I can split it with a line. Okay, yeah, I am 0 for 3. I won't waste our time by extruding this line into a surface sketch to try using the split that way. Nor will I waste our time by trying to do a thin cut extrude through all. That's just going to up my failure total. But I did think, okay, damn, I'm having a heck of a time with my rollback bar tonight.
Right click, roll to end.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There we go. So I thought, okay, let me try just sketching a rectangle. And let me just see if I can just blast across the end there. Well, I got 260 millimeters into the cut here. I made it 262 millimeters actually. But when I went to 263,
It says it's... What the hell?
exactly. Oh, exactly. So yeah, so this thing does not want to cut itself in half down the middle there. But like I said, these are my failed attempts. So again, as I looked at the model more and more, I thought there's a heck of a lot of really sharp edges there. So I thought, okay.
Oh, why doesn't it?
Let me start bending the rules a little. So I thought, okay. What I did was, on every one of these sharp edges here, I put the tiniest darn fillet, like 1/100th of a millimeter. I mean, if we zoom in real close, you can see that it's just ever so mildly rounded over. And again, if I open the drawing of it here, oh, there it is.
One, to turn, no.
Okay, so again, there's Alan's coworker's original view using the default configuration here. Again, it's not doing it. Sheet 3 here. Again, this is the configuration where like I showed you a moment ago, I just put that ever so tiny radius on each one of those sharp edges. Because again, I was thinking, okay, if those edges are super crisp and the way it's twisting around there, maybe it's like a zero thickness geometry thing that it's kind of freaking out over. And just by mildly easing those edges, that allowed me to, take a section view across there. But like I said, that's cheating, right? That's not how the part was designed. It's probably designed to have those hard, sharp edges. So I thought, okay, there has got to be a way. I tried cutting, I tried splitting. But then I thought, I haven't tried splitting in all the manners that one can split. And so this was the only successful way. This was the only successful way I could do it. It was also the most tedious way. But there is that part properly split in half along that. And how did I do it?
A candle up
Split
here for
line.
light, so this big light doesn't get put on.
Hello?
A candle on the table.
Hey, Mike,
Not
would you
that
mind
one.
yourself?
Yeah, somebody.
That one's to keep the bugs away. If there's some bugs, why light it?
Yeah. No. Okay, well, again, one of us will get folks muted there or something. But yeah, so anyhow, again, what I did.
Do it all at once. So when you drop it, light the carpet on fire.
Okay, I just created a split line to split these
I'll have trouble
surfaces.
lighting.
And I ended up having to put a couple split lines in there using the we're getting a lot.
I think you guys
Getting a
can
lot
mute
of
that guy.
feedback.
Whoever the organizer is can mute individually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Oh, never mind. Eric's the organizer.
Me an organizer.
Yeah, hold on a sec here. There we go. Is that better? Okay. I muted everybody, so if you're hearing me, okay, just somebody with hands or something. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so yeah. So anyhow, sorry about that. Yeah, as I was saying, so what I ended up doing with this was I just basically thought, okay, I tried splitting it other ways, but what if I could just like start deconstructing it? So I figured if I could start deleting faces, then maybe I'd have a fighting chance. So that's exactly what I did. I just took that sketch line that I tried to split with earlier and created a split line feature here. And again, the easiest way to to grab everything was, I just pick one face here. Let me clear all those out. So again, I just picked one face. And then if y'all remember, once you've got something selected like that, if you use Control A, just like in any other Windows deal, it'll pick everything else. And there I've got all my faces. And that probably made these two split lines unnecessary because I missed a face earlier. So let me undo that so I'm not chasing the fixes here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so I ended up just splitting every doggone face in the model. Then I did a delete face to open this up. And and then a surface plane to cap it off. And then just knit it together to form it into a solid there. And so then the only little bit of fudging I need to do now is not with the model itself like I did with those fillets to try and cheat earlier, but on my fourth sheet here, let me rebuild my screen here. Again, that message is referring to sheet 2 there. So yeah, so what I did then was I've got my standard view here. I did a projected view off of this view
What is
here, and then I don't know what that is. And then what I did for this particular view here, oh, that's some weird shit stuff there. Oh, drink.
Yeah, let's go get the drink.
Yeah, score. All
Thanks,
righty.
Eric. We've been waiting
Yeah,
for
so then I just changed the configuration that this particular view points to. Instead of the default parent configuration, I just told it to use that section view configuration and then use the crosshatch tool to fill that in there. But wow, that's some
It looks like you
crazy stuff
converted a
there.
sketch or something.
It does in some ways, but I don't know what the heck. That wasn't there earlier.
Eric has brought us into the matrix.
Yep.
Yeah, you made us a constellation out of your section.
Indeed there.
Look at that.
Very complicated.
So Alan, I'm curious. In your message to us, you said that you had a workaround or something, and I'm curious, how our efforts.
Hey, that was really, really awesome, Eric. I think you did an awesome job in finding, in fact, 2 different ways to create that view. A little bit of background about this part. This part actually is a cam follower for an encoder. And so we got basically this moving platform that kind of moves, kind of like if you could think of like a carousel at the airport, and we need to keep track of its position. And each one of these, this carousel has these wheels. And so these wheels engage with that spline as it's following along the linear path, and it turns the encoder so that way our software guys know exactly where the carousel is at. And so as the story goes, they just designed a part. Our designer is trying to begin his detail work. And for the life of him, he couldn't split it. And, he talked to his counterpart. She couldn't get it split. Then he asked me, Al, can you split this part? I swear, there's something is wrong with it. I tried doing it a couple different ways. A couple of interesting takes. Eric, just out of curiosity, how much time did you spend trying to find a solution?
Oh gosh, it was maybe about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I didn't see it until this morning, and so basically I just detailed the entire process I went through. I tried all the usual stuff, and then it was just sheerly out of frustration. I was thinking, I gotta got to find a way to, you know, delete a face or something. But again, the way they all wrapped around is just like, there's not a single face that I can just delete one to turn it into a surface model that I can start deconstructing. So that's what led me to the thinking, okay, I don't know if these split lines are going to work because the split feature wouldn't work. But surprisingly enough, it did let me use the split line feature, and then I just started ripping those faces off there so I could end up with that hollow trough.
So I've actually had there's actually two workarounds. A couple things about this part. The way I ended up solving it was I ended up ditching the part. I exported it out to Step, re-imported it, and it actually slices as you would expect.
Oh, wow.
Which means the little radius, this is where it gets interesting, that little radius isn't necessarily the problem. So you know how you added that little radius on the edge, which also solved it?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's necessarily the problem, but it was interesting that if you did add the radius, it worked. The actual solution, and so this is kind of the story for everyone who runs into situations like this. If you have maintenance and you are paying so much money every year for SolidWorks maintenance, take advantage of your resellers. Send it to them and have them figure it out. Yeah. And as it turns out, the way they solved it, if you could go back to the model, Eric, real quick, you could go back to the model, and what they actually did is if you roll back in history to the cut sweep, you'll see they use the helix instead of as the path. What they ended up doing was they converted the helix. What they did is they created a 3D sketch, projected the helix into the 3D sketch, and then used that as a path. And that also works. Very, very interesting way. Yeah, so that was the solution that came out of the reseller. And it turns out there is an SPR report for that, which I guess it hasn't been fixed yet. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the story behind that.
It's a solid workaround.
Solid workaround. Well, it was interesting. It's interesting that there's several ways. This was kind of cool. This is several different ways to solve this. None of them which are very obvious, I guess.
Yeah, and I probably took the most tedious method by etching all the way around and taking it apart face by face there.
Does that mean that curves are more segmented than sketches? Like they're more collections of straight lines and sketches are actual curves?
I wanted to say, my personal opinion, I think it has to do with the ACES kernel, the way that the surface is calculated. And then at that very edge, the one where Eric had put the radius on, I think at the point where those two surfaces meet, it had to have been throwing some sort of a calculation error. Because you got to remember, in the end of the day, those ACES surfaces, those are just calculations. And when there's a little bit of rounding error, or if there's a slightest little gap between the surfaces, SolidWorks just throws its hands up and says, hey, I can't do it.
That's it, I'm out of here. Right on. Well, thank you, Alan. That was a fun little deal there. And just looking at the chat, yeah, Amy, that's something I thought too when I looked at it. It's like, is that kind of slightly off kilter, and maybe that's why it's not. But no, that was I exhausted all those hopeful, easy possibilities myself there.
I just wanted to make a comment about the just kind of the SR and SPR process, if anyone wasn't familiar with it.
Please.
So my name is Ami Megani. I work for Go Engineer, and I just wanted to walk you through kind of what something like this looks like on our side. So typically you're working on it, and then you're trying to figure it out, because we all have that like engineer's ego where we have to figure out ourselves, right? So you've worked with it for a little bit, and then finally you're like, oh, I can't figure it out. And then you send it to the reseller. We'll take a stab at it. And we've got, of course, a bunch of colleagues here that you know, we always want to prove each other wrong or something like that. So there's a little bit of that here too. And so when we can't figure it out, we escalate it to SolidWorks. And that's, at that point, it becomes an SR. So it's a ticket that they need to work on. Once they identify, like this is clearly something where you do a section view, you should clear, I mean, this should be like a one-step process, right? So immediately you know that there's something wrong here, and it needs to be fixed. It's great to try to find your own workaround, but bottom line is something needs to be fixed here. And so once the SR, once we identify that there is a bug and this is why this is happening, it becomes an SPR. SPR is actually like a to-do list item for the development team. The reseller does not get any visibility to like how long this is going to take or when it will be implemented. But once they do have a plan, like, oh, this is going to be implemented in SolidWorks 2022 Service Pack 0, they'll let us know. So I just wanted y'all to know what that process looks like on the back.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
So Eric, did we figure out why the 262 worked and not 263? Was that one revolution of the helix maybe, or one revolution of the cut?
Steve, I didn't dig that far into it, but now, you know, basing on, you know, the additional background to the fix that that Alan shared with us, I can only speculate that maybe it's somewhere around 262 millimeters along there, that maybe that's where that slight edge leak comes into play, and it says, I don't know what that, you know, that's the spot on the map maybe where it says here be dragons beyond this point or something. I mean,
Definitely.
that's my wild speculation, but after I got that far into it, I started out by going, you know, I took the whole length of it, and I said, okay, let me try 500. No, 4, 3, 200. Okay, 200. Let's go to 250. I kept splitting the differences. Okay, 250 goes. 275. No. Okay, 270. No. 265. No. Okay, let me just start walking back in 1 millimeter increment. Hey, I finally cut it. And then I said, okay, let me move on to, you know, my next attempt.
That makes me curious. We one of our fuel meters, in fact, one of the fuel meters that we showed in San Antonio World a couple of years ago, actually has 2 screws similar to this that the fluid goes past, or gas goes past inside our meter. And I'm just curious. I'm going to open one of those up tomorrow and see if I can do see if I can do a section view on it in the drawing.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Nice.
And it sounds like Alan, like what Alan said, instead of the reseller solved it by not using the helix spiral to drive the sweep, but rather using the helix spiral to create a convert edge on a 3D sketch, and then using the 3D sketch to drive the sweep. Is that correct, Alan?
That is correct, and it works. It works flawlessly. So, yeah, it's real weird that it won't take the curve as a path, but it'll take 3D sketch as a path, and then still allow you to section. That's kind of the strange part.
I think I may have to try offline. You know, just the other thing that just came to me was maybe if not even using the helix or a 3D sketch, but rather the twist along path option of the sweep command, and just using the straight line as the path and tell it to twist along there, whatever that was. I'll have to try that.
I tried that and it didn't work.
Okay.
I also wonder if you
alrighty.
could put your helix like on the inside of your profile instead of the outside, or vice versa, wherever it is now.
Good idea.
It's the helix itself that's causing the problem. Cool.
Yeah, because the helix, it looks like it's on the surface, on the outer.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dan, like you said, you know, maybe make it the inner drive or something. All righty. Well, I think we've done beat this thing to death, and
Right?
no.
Or instead of using that helix, what would you?
Chumps 1, stumping 0 so far.
All right.
So
All
far.
right. Moving on then. This one is a pretty straightforward question, but it caused a lot of heartache for people at my work until they asked me. How do you make a drawing view of this weird off-angle face without going through all kinds of strange, iterations of projected views or creating a brand new view in the part itself? And this is just a feature that I think is not very well known, but is very helpful. So you can see I've got this weird off-angle thing, which has a whole lot of non-orthogonal faces on it. And I want to know, how can I make a view that I can dimension these holes off of? And
I could do it in my manual drafting days, but it'd take me a few sheets of paper.
yeah, this toolbar is in the way and it won't leave, but all right. So yeah, it's just a sort of a hidden, there's no shortcut button for this by default, but this relative to model command is what you want to use. So you say relative to model, and then it says, I guess it was already open, but it gives you the option to choose the model you want to use. And then basically you're going to choose what's your front face, or you can actually use any orientation, but usually you want front and right. So just as simple as that, it creates a view completely normal to that face.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
That's cool.
It's simple but very well hidden. Yeah, I don't have a big long trial and error story to tell you. It's just a cool feature that you can find under Insert, Relative to Model, or with the shortcut bar or anything like that. Yeah, I feel like I want to stretch this out, but I can't.
Well,
So I have a
contribute.
question then. What happens if you change your orientation in your model?
If you change what front is?
Yeah, if you were to change your orientation in the model, what would it do?
Probably the same as all the other views. It would actually. It might
no,
not do anything.
not change it not change it like that. I mean, actually change it so the front is the right view, or front is the top view, or something. There you go.
So I guess I should probably give it a little more. So right now this is front. So let's call this front.
I mean, I think I know what's going to happen.
So we'll change the orientation of any standard orthogonal named and child views. So I think that means that this relative to model view is not affected.
Yeah. Oh, before you change, do we want to take bets?
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
No,
it has not been affected.
Right. And I think the reason why it didn't get affected is because Dan actually picked a face for the front and a face for the right, irregardless of what's happening in the actual model. That's a cool tool.
Yes,
I like that. I like that.
I know a lot of people would go in and make a view, kind of like I just did. Make a new named view. That's what I did here, basically. But no, you can get around that.
That's exactly where I was going too. Was that that this method saves you time doing that, because you don't have to create that. And I know in our case with our PDM system, a lot of times if one of our detailers is working with a model, we don't necessarily have them check the model out while they're making the drawing of it, so that if they did need to create some type of view like that, they wouldn't have to check the model out to add a named view and then come in. So yeah, that's pretty bitchin'. That's pretty bitchin'.
All right. Glad to be of service here. All right, what do we have next?
My background so you guys can see my beer. Drink.
That was a good one, Daniel.
Oh, excellent.
I dropped out there for a second, but did you actually try changing the angle to see if the view would update?
We
Is
changed
that what I mean?
the view, the standard views.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
But if you
so
were to actually modify your part and revise it and change that angle slightly, would the view remain normal based on the face selection? I presume it would.
I don't think so. Let's see.
Just, yeah, maybe lean that face back a little bit more or something, or tilt it forward or something. I kind of think it is going to stay because
I do
it's
too.
still the same face.
Yep, I do too. Place your bets.
Right.
Survey says.
No.
Oh, do you need to
no.
update that view perhaps? Is there a way to?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have the cross hatching around it that says I'm a view in need of updating. So.
Right.
Also hasn't even lost the reference of these center marks, which is interesting.
Okay.
Well, I think probably, whenever you mess anything up in SOLIDWORKS, it changes the name of the face.
Oh, the face ID could be mildly changing there.
Yeah.
Well, let's try this then. Let's do, so instead of that angle.
I doubt the face ID changed in that predicament though.
That's what I would guess as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true, John. But now that it's rife with errors or something.
Let's try this.
Could be almost that like it's treating it like a soft snap, where you've made two selections at one point in time. And once you make
that's a good.
Now,
I wonder, is it actually saving a view in the model, in which case that view would have to be updated at the model level?
So that's what I was thinking. How do you update that view now?
Control Q.
Yeah. That's what I said.
That easy.
So it looks like it updated when I changed something a little farther up the tree. So this was.
Well, that previous change I noticed filled the tree with errors, so that maybe.
Yeah, that might have been enough.
Maybe that was enough to wonky the face IDs or something. So no.
Yeah, that's updated.
All right, so that's good. Yeah, so that means it's normal.
Yep.
And then I could go and change this. Maybe let's get a little more extreme. Nope, too much.
Too much. Back off. Back off.
1 millimeter at a time.
Yeah, 261. 260.
More importantly, how do you describe that view arrow on the drawing?
Shush.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but get out your draft.
This view.
Yeah. So all right. So without errors, I guess it does update.
Yep.
Let's see if we can do that a little farther up. Oh.
Error.
And it carries the center marks with it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. We all learned something today.
Wow.
I love how, anyone shows off a cool new command and everyone's just like, how can we break it?
That's definitely a hallmark of the Chumps, right?
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
All right, Chumps 2.
Yeah, we win.
This next question, I forget who this came from. Do you remember, Eric?
Yeah, Mark
Yeah.
Peterson. Mark, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself and fill us in on the background of this.
Well, I'm a new user. Been using Creo for 20 years, so I can model at a high level. But using a new tool, all the things are new to me. I have developed a master modeling technique in Creo where I have one model that has all the major surfaces and things that are shared between parts, center lines, holes, planes, or whatever. Put that in my master, and then you publish out the information you want into each individual part that's going to be in the full assembly, and then you can finish up, the details of each one. So I'm trying to understand if bodies or configs or something else in SolidWorks, it's the best way to approach this.
All right, I think I can help you with that. Yeah, I
So
gave
far
a
I've been
couple.
using bodies.
What's that?
So far I've been using bodies.
Bodies can work. I have I don't know, not a specific way of doing things, but my master model includes all kinds of different features depending on what type of part it is. Basically, if it's a sheet metal part, it'll look one way. If it's a plastic or molded or more consumerish part, it'll look a different way. So for example, here's my master model that I used in my presentation at SolidWorks World a couple years ago. It's a combination of surfaces, surface bodies, and solid bodies and planes. And from there, my favorite tool to use is intersect. So I'll go back and I'll open one of these random parts. Not necessarily remembering how I did this, but knowing it worked out. So the first thing I do is go to insert part, and then literally insert the master model part into this new part. I wonder if I have my, no, I never did on this one. I made a whole toolbar of just master modeling tools, starting with insert part and intersect and cut with surface and all that good stuff. So I started with my master model for every part, and then the next feature is generally intersect. So basically I take the features or the planes and surfaces and bodies that I want to use, and I use them in a single feature to cut down to only the part I care about. So basically, using this surface and I think several surfaces and several planes, I can get down to a single body that looks like this. And then I just delete all the other bodies that I didn't use to create that surface or that body. And then from this single part, I add, individual fillets and patterns and things that, are details rather than overall.
Yep.
Yeah. The intersect tool is kind of complicated to get your head around, but very powerful for stuff like this.
Hey Dan, do you still have your Star Wars chicken walker model? That was a phenomenal master model example. That was the presentation I saw you do. I think that was first Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's the same presentation. I did one sheet metal part and one consumer part. So I'm going to open that now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so at the time I was doing much more industrial sheet metal, much more heavy duty stuff. So I used a lot of this to develop transfer chutes and stuff like that, which is actually what you see in the PowerPoint here. This body ended up creating this guy. So like here's one that's just a sketch and some planes. Another kind of transfer chute idea. You'll notice that I use symmetry as much as possible. This is only a quarter of the chute, and from that you can get everything else you need. Yeah, and this is kind of a super detailed, high level master model presentation. I'll try to remember where I uploaded this. I think they wouldn't let me upload it before they released the SolidWorks World presentations, and I don't think I ever did it after that, but I think I should. Yeah, so let's see if this guy opened.
Don't we have a spot on the SWUGN Chumps YouTube channel where we can post files and stuff for upload, download? Maybe that's a way we can distribute things.
Sure.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so basically, let's start with this guy, maybe. So here's my master. The important part of masters is sketches and planes also. So you can see I've got, let me turn off this. I've got some overlapping planes. So I've got basically a solid model here. And then I've got a surface model that's basically just an offset where I want my flanges. So from there, this is the plate I want to work on. So I just do a convert to sheet metal. So that'll take any shape, surface or solid, and create a sheet metal plane from it. It can include bends. In this case, it was only a flat piece I needed. From there, I make edge flanges, and those edge flanges are linked to the the length and direction of this plane here. So it's up to vertex, it's up to this distance, and the angle is parallel to the top plane. So none of this is manual. It's all based on the master model. And then from there, I use my sketch point pattern to make holes. What I like to do, especially for things like this, is actually create, it's like twice the number of holes I need minus one. So I get, a half distance from the edge and then a full distance to the next hole, no matter where I am. And you do that with the segment tool. Oh, and of course, but I'll just do a quick sketch here. So you draw a line, and then you say, all right, on that line, I want 5 equally spaced points, or 7 or 9 or whatever. So you don't have to do any dimensioning there, and it's just based on the length of the line. Yeah. Well, as I stretch this line, they will auto space. And then from there, I just use the cutouts in my master model to make bigger holes up here and down here. So based on sketches that are in the master. And then what was this? I don't even know what this is. No idea. Oh, hinges, right. So this little guy is sort of a hinge point that is based on this line out in space. So this line is my hinge axis. So I create, this part with a hinge at that axis, and I create my little eyelids with a hinge at that axis, and it all always line up.
Now, Dan, when you were making this, after you created the master model and you'd moved on to make the individual parts, were you able, or how easy is it to come back into the master and add details, change details later on?
Yeah, I never got it right the first time. So a couple tips for doing that. So if I go down at the end of my model, I want to get rid of all my excess bodies from my master model, right? I don't want to use the delete bodies option. I want to use only the keep bodies option, because if I go back into my master and I add a new body, I then have to go back into my individual parts and update this feature to delete that body.
Because they'll show up because they weren't in this list.
Because they were not deleted. But if I only keep the bodies I care about, then I'm free to add as many bodies into my master as I want. Unless, of course, I somehow need those. But actually, no. As long as your delete keep body features at the end, they'll always be available to use when you need them. And then at the end, so wait, I have 6 bodies here. Why is that? Oh, so I mirrored, and because I'm mirroring multiple bodies here, I couldn't combine the 2 halves because these wouldn't combine, or I didn't want them to combine. So then I just combine my 2 halves, turn off all my sketches, and there's my first part. I don't even know what's going on here. I think this is a cut that shouldn't have gone all the way through. Whoops. Several years later.
It looks like it was designed on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clearance, right?
Exactly.
It's a lead-in.
Prop the eyebrows open.
Yeah, so everything was done using either a mirror feature in the part or a mirror feature in the, where's my mirror? oh yeah, a mirror feature in my assembly. So like for this one, I had to make a right side version, but I didn't have to make an all new version. So I made this, and then I went into my mirror command, and I said, okay, I need an opposite hand version for this part. And then all it does is, I guess when you create the first time, there's a screen here that says, do you want to make a brand new part, or do you want to make a configuration of your existing part? I think I made a config. Yeah, so there's default and default mirror.
All right on.
Yeah, that is a super quick and dirty crash course, but does that help you, Mark?
Certainly. Can you briefly touch on what the kind of difficulties are with that intersect? I mean, what to look out for, or...
If you use a lot of bodies, you will end up with a lot of options for what to get rid of. So you have to kind of be patient and step through all the options to clear the ones you want, or do it more visually. So let's see, I'll go back to the same one we were doing.
You also want to be a little careful of creating new bodies in the history that you might have to go back and fix your intersect command.
I think they'll just show up as extra bodies.
Right.
I think as long as you keep the right, because like I already have a delete these unused bodies command after I'm done with this. So let me show you what it really looks like. Clear all. So this is what I start with. I start with a mass of every body that's enclosed within the volume of surfaces I've chosen. So everything between, basically it doesn't go down to this face because this one is the lowest one that encloses a volume. So here, you know what? If I drew an open cylinder with no surface on the top or bottom, and then I drew a plane partway up and another plane partway down, and I created the intersect tool, only the volume between these two planes and within the cylinder is given as an option. So basically, if I create this and use the intersect tool, I end up with a shorter cylinder. So in this case, I don't even know why I selected this lower plane, honestly, but I've selected, and also I think I should just show a lot of things that are hidden right now. Oh, above here. So yeah, I've got this cylinder and these planes and a few cylinders inside it. So I then have to choose which things I care about and want to keep. Oh, I see. I hadn't. All right, that's the button I wanted. Unselect all. All right. So now within this is the right one. You know, I don't care about anything up here, and I don't care about this outer band, or maybe this inner one, I don't remember anymore. So I just click the regions that I want to get rid of. And then if I want to see what I've already gotten rid of, I can just click show excluded regions. So that's basically the inverse. And so anything you check off here will be deleted. And then you say, all right, take all the surfaces that were used to create that intersect and get rid of them, consume them, and then merge the result of all of these remaining bodies. And you're left with this one single body. So yeah, the caution is don't try to do too many things at once. If it takes 2 intersect tools to get where you want to go, it might be easier than trying to create one out of 75 different surfaces and bodies and planes.
Yeah. I'm sure if you were to do some digging around, Rob Jost from SolidWorks, he's like Mr. Intersect himself. He's done for several years some fantastic presentations on the Intersect tool at SolidWorks World and 3D Experience World, and I'm sure you could probably find somewhere on a preceding site or maybe a YouTube channel or something, a video of that. But yeah, just to sum up in a nutshell what Dan said, you try calculating too many volumes with that intersect tool, you're just gonna, snatch yourself bald headed trying to winnow out all the volumes that you don't want to have with.
And I think that's also something they're working on trying to improve.
Yep.
So, like this one had 20 regions, and out of that I kept I don't know, half, and got rid of all these. But yeah, this was a fun one. All right. Any other questions from anybody on Intersect? Because it's my baby.
And what was that guy's name? Rob something? Rob Joe?
Rob Jost. Yep, I'll put it in the chat.
Joe's?
Jost.
J-O-S-T.
J-O-S-T. Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat here as well. And just in case, and this is a reminder for folks, anybody who's sitting in on this, when the GoToMeeting session ends, if you look in, I think it's in your documents folder, I'll double check during this, but there'll be a text file of the chat log. So if somebody puts in like a name or an email address or a web page link or something, all that stuff is captured in the chat log file, so that y'all have a copy of that on your local machine. So again, don't worry like, oh gosh, I gotta grab a screenshot of what Eric, that address that Eric put in the chat, or that Cam tossed up there or something.
Burninating. I also forgot that I had this super simple sort of intro to master modeling, because I see Caleb is worried that it's going to be too complex, but I assure you it'll be okay. I have basically two parts of a box, and I've controlled every aspect of this box with a master model and a text file. So I have, the size of the box, length, width, height, the corner radius, and the parting plane, which separates the top from the bottom. I also have an equation. This thing is in the way. Equation box that links to an external file. And the external file says, this is my wall thickness and this is my edge radius. And the reason that these are in an external file is because they're not easy to show in the master model without making the master too detailed. So, let's say I have a lot more parts and I want my edge radius to be consistent on all of them, but I don't want to radius all the corners of my master model. That would be silly. That would defeat the purpose. So basically I use this, let me move it over here for a bit. And then when I make my parts, first of all, my master is controlled by a very simple intersect command. I say, make me a volume between the whole thing and this plane, and I have two regions. I can either choose 1 or 2, top or bottom. And then from there, I link my equation file again, and I tell my fillet to be equal to an equation or a variable in that text file. I don't know why it's not letting me edit it right now, though. That's interesting. Yeah, so equals edge radius in the file. And same with the shell. So that way, no matter how many parts I have, those values are always going to be consistent as long as I link them. So then I can go and switch up my master. So let's say I want to make this bigger and make this shorter. And I want my edge radius to be, I don't know, 32. Got to remember to save it. And then from there, my assembly now updates itself instantaneously. Yeah. And then, you know, you can get fancy and you can add like ledges and lips and stuff, but. All right, I think I've taken up enough time.
Cool. Thank you.
You got it.
Right on.
All right. Who's got this one?
Oh, that was actually Mark's secondary question in regards to the master modeling text. So
Is there a way to export?
Same answer.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah, pretty much everything that he's described is kind of helps cover those boxes
Yep.
there.
All
Do you
right,
have
good.
any additional questions?
Oh, I got a ton of them. I've only been using the software for 3 months.
Well, hit
But
the
that's enough
chat.
for
We'll come
today.
back
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, you can come back around at the
That'll
end.
do it.
right on.
All right. Now I know this was Mark's question too. And I think I want to open this up to the rest of the audience first. What's the best way to learn?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Thanks, Todd.
My SolidWorks.
Yeah, the MySolidWorks trainings are pretty good.
Yes.
There's
If
also
you want-
Solid Professor, but you have to pay.
If you want to
Yeah,
learn,
this month,
So
User
this
groups.
month Solid Professor. Oh, sorry. This month Solid Professor does have 40% off its annual membership plans. You know, just not a customer, not affiliated. Just saw the email come in the other day and it was stuck in my mind. But
yep,
cha-ching.
I'm not gonna go for
if you
or
want
against
to
Check with
learn,
your resellers. Some resellers are offering
Yes.
training. So self-paced training is with a it's obviously at your own pace, but there's also a number to dial if you get stuck with a question or something. There's a hotline dedicated to that. There's lots of different methods. There's formal classroom training. There's online training where you have a guided instructor. Like you said, Solid Professor. There's my.solidworks.com.
yes.
So I probably just spewed a bunch of info in 1 minute, but if you have any questions, let me know. That's what I can share.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of
He's speaking right now.
I'll add, Mark, the best thing that I can think of is your local user group. And I know Joe Lance, your leader in Houston, there is one hell of a fellow. So
I will start going.
that's what you do is once we see you face to face, it's even better, but online and virtual is just as good. So you can ask questions, and there's lots of people out there just like you see here on this image now that are just willing to help you because they just love this stuff and eat it up.
it's true.
Great.
If you want to
Appreciate
learn
it.
super advanced surfacing, I highly recommend Dan Lavoie's tutorials. They're like, I don't know, 40 or 50 bucks each, but they're real good.
Yes.
They're this good.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep. There's the F-16, the Ferrari 430, the Lamborghini, the Audi, and the Bell helicopter. I'm staring at my DVDs of them right now. They're off to
You got the
the side.
DVDs.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
I always
like-
got in early on his offerings, and he'd like burn 50 DVDs to ship out to like the first 50 customers. So, yeah. yeah, Dan Lavoie and also Mark Biasotti, who was
Yay.
with
Yep.
you know, SolidWorks for many, many years and his own industrial design consultancy and such for many years before that. He has a YouTube channel now, and gosh, I'm embarrassed. The name of the channel is blanking on me.
Eric, Eric, he has the company that he's worked for currently is called Spanner.
Spanner, yes, thank you,
Yeah,
John.
it's not YouTube, it's on their Spanner website, but he's got a ton of
Okay.
tutorials there. And he's really gone through them. So there's quite a few, and he's adding more. I just talked to him recently.
All right, on. And also, I was conflating him with Ed Eaton's DeMonte group. They have a YouTube channel
DeMonte is
where
awesome.
Andrew Lowe,
Yeah.
where Andrew Lowe has done a lot of
Those are awesome.
serious. And yes, there's you know, Steve and I will never fill out a ballot the same way at all, but we agree on so many other things hand in hand.
Amen.
And that is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen, brothers.
Everything that Ed does is amazing. Like, he doesn't do anything halfway.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. And he will be our special presenter next month for November 17th during the 5th annual SWUGN. So again, you wanna make sure you hunt that up and attend that.
I also wouldn't knock the certification route because
oh yes,
I mean, the certification route can push you in directions that you may not have used the software to kind of open you up. So if you're kind of in a slump, you know, look at the certifications to kind of push you in a direction.
Well, I totally. I think every one of us champions on here, we've all got our CSWE, don't we? Yep. Dan,
I gotta
Todd,
print new ones.
Cam, myself, Dave Antanovich and Glenn as well. So yeah, the certification route is a fantastic way, because again, you know, I don't do anything with plastic part design, but you know, I immersed myself in the mold design curriculum, and that was actually the one certification exam that I got a perfect score on. Yeah, there's just millions of resources there. And I see Ivan is mentioning Matt Lombard, who has he wrote the SolidWorks Surfacing and Complex Shape Modeling Bible about a decade ago. And rather than do an updated book, he's built himself a subscription website that has all manner of you know, advanced surfacing stuff on it as well. And as you've seen from, like, you know, if you're familiar with Toby Schnarr's, his presentation last night, you know, surfacing just isn't for the cool, swoopy, crazy stuff. You know, you can use surfaces as, you know, like Dan was showing us a few minutes ago in his master model. You can use it for reference geometry. You know, I actually took the approach on solving Alan's problem by you know, devolving that crazy model down into surfaces so that it could be, you know, built back up into the solid there. Right on.
Very cool.
So anybody else got anything to chime in about how they improve their learning? Remember, if you stop learning, you stop earning.
I can tell you something about the Solid Professor. We used it at a company when I was in Colorado. And the interesting part about it is that you can assign as like the kind of controller of the subscriptions, you can assign different people in your organization things to actually go to and learn, and then you can you can see their progress, what they've actually been watching, and the scores they've gotten on all their exams and everything. So it's kind of a really neat way for an organization to do all that and have that master control as well.
I also
Yeah,
like
I would.
sorry, Solid Professor will redo versions of their courses each year with each new major release of SolidWorks, which is nice, especially the ones that have the most modifications, most new additions to features and stuff like that. They'll get those done pretty quick, which is nice. I do have to say though, I've used Solid Professor on 2 different 1-year subscriptions. And in both cases, I've come across some of their tests at the end of a unit where you do the test, and me and other people, in fact, a couple other people on this call have come across wrong answers that they've got in their system, and you have to reach out to them and say, hey, I know I'm getting the right answer. Can you please check that? And then, oh yeah, sorry, our decimal place was in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
So,
I've come across that as well.
Yeah. So, but I mean, one of the great things about Solid Professor though is that it's not just SolidWorks. So if your company uses other things like Mastercam and other things that that they offer courses on, it becomes the most bang for your buck option, regardless of some of the minor issues that they've got. But when it comes to pure SolidWorks, I found that actually the My SolidWorks training, and if you pay for the My SolidWorks Professional, it's top.
Right, and if you have an active subscription, you can get My SolidWorks Standard, which has quite a bit in it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just discovering for the first time that they put all of last year's world sessions in the training page.
Nice.
Yeah, and they have My
Good
SolidWorks is
certification
big,
training as well.
certification as well.
Yeah, certification training.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely try out mysolidworks.com/training. They have not just individual courses, but an entire path. So I want to learn everything there is to know about sheet metal. Well, this is actually platform stuff, so ignore that.
Where do you guys find the time? I'm working all day and then I come to these meetings. I don't have time for training.
Yeah.
Sleep is greatly overrated.
Does everyone see that sign up for Worlds, virtual world is open?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have not tried that yet.
Hit the chat with a 1 if you've signed up for World.
Not yet. But yeah, all kinds of good stuff. All right. Good?
Yep, let's move on.
Next.
How does one apply a sketch to a 3D dimensionally curved surface?
All right, I'll take this one. Application, share my SolidWorks. All right. Okay. So if you want to take a sketch, and I'm just going to use this, like the question that I got from one of my users was more about a pattern of squares. Like if you created a sketch and did a sketch pattern, how do you wrap that around a 3-dimensional surface? Now, I think most everybody is used to being able to do a wrap or so if you're doing it on a flat surface, you can do a split line and then do whatever you want with the scribe lines that are on the surface afterward. But if you want to do it to a curved surface, you would apply a wrap like this so that it actually goes all the way around. However, if you want to do this to a 3-dimensional surface, when I go to apply this sketch as a wrap, I go to select the surface, it won't let me select that three-dimensional surface to map to. And that is just simply because you need to go from analytical or cylindrical over here to, surface wrap. And then it'll let you select it, and it'll wrap it all the way around. You can see the preview, it's going to work. So that's quick and easy. I would say, though, like I wanted to see if there was anything else I could do with this, and I wanted to move my sketch up and see how it would wrap around the top side of this sphere. It didn't like that. It goes, I'm going to wrap right on the middle of your sphere, and I'm just going to change my direction depending on where you put me. Yeah. So it made me think.
Instead of going around the equator, you tried to make it go around the Tropic of Capricorn, and it's
Exactly.
like, no,
I wanted to really make it cool, but it didn't like that. So I got to thinking, and I created another body. So this one it's a a revolve, all curvy all the way around, and I wanted to see what would happen if I did this. So I applied a wrap to it that way. Let me go in. There's a couple different ways you can do this. So oddly enough, even though this is a 3D curved surface, it will let me apply it as a cylindrical analytical. See it, you can see it's giving you a preview of the way it's going to flatten the surface to apply it and then wrap it back on. The thing about this, though, is if you do this version, if you then rotate your model around and follow it, maybe you can't tell with this particular font, but all these letters are very skewed. If you try to rotate very, normal too, they are distorted by the way they've been wrapped onto the surface and then projected onto the surface and then wrapped back around. So if you were to compare that view to if I then go back and wrap it with the other option, now you can see that the letters come through not distorted. And they're wrapped on there properly.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Look at
It
your
looks
O,
like
though.
it's in a different position on it. It's not in that nice curve. If you look at the two.
You want me to move it?
Well, the one where you showed it distorted, it was in the kind of fluted section.
Right.
where-
Okay. I'll move this up. Try it this way.
That weird kink in the O is just in the font.
That is the font. Yes, that is the font.
Oh, yes. Yes, I just saw that. It's like a couple pixels, somebody kicked it right in the shoulder or something.
Yeah. So that is a little bit distorted because of where it is, but it's not as distorted as the other version. I can even go back.
Very good. Okay, I got it.
It'll probably be less distorted if your extrude height was smaller.
There you see.
Oh, yeah.
I see it.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, quick and easy. Let me see, Greg. I know you're in the chat. Did that answer your question? You want to give us a little more info? You might have to get closer to the mic, Greg. I'm not getting. Well, I can hear you talking, just can't. It's not clear.
So to sum up what I was trying to do is basically I was trying to make a picture shifter ball for a club that looked like an old school kind of grenade, kind of that texture around that cylindrical surface.
Anybody catch that?
I heard old school.
I thought I heard old school too. Yeah. Greg, go ahead and type it into the chat if you can't fix your mic, and then we'll I can come back to it and address it.
Have they
Right.
made it so you can wrap across multiple surfaces? I feel like that was a limitation a while back.
That was 2 or 3 releases back. That might have been starting with 2018. You can do it onto multiple surfaces.
I'll just put like a fillet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna do a split line
That works too.
and then reapply.
You just might have to edit the.
Cameron, can you hear me better?
Yeah, we
Much
got you.
better.
Yes. All right. So if I can quickly get back into it. What I was trying to do, I was trying to make a shifter ball for a stick shift in a car, and I was trying to make it look like an old school pineapple grenade and have that pineapple texture on the cylindrical surface.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
Eric has a great example of that.
Oh,
That's true.
oh
You do.
my pineapple twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was all done with the
With
flex
flex.
feature.
Yeah.
There was a good tutorial sometime a long time ago about knurling apart.
Oh, I can remember. I can picture that in my mind, but
All right. Let's see. I have.
oh, there's also that mesh tool where you can apply a texture these days.
If you're going to print it, yeah.
Well, no, it was in I think it was 2018 or 2019 where they
It's like the bump mapping.
the bump mapping. Yeah.
Yeah, got to be careful with that one.
Yes.
I've spent extensive time with it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's so fun.
Oh, well, because he's checkering pistol grips.
Cam, can I steal the screen?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna play with this for a little bit, see if I can come up with anything.
This one, share. I've got this, which is pretty straightforward. It's just, whoa. It's a cut sweep that way, and a cut sweep that way, and then a big pattern. And you use the.
Early, dude.
I've got a profile, and my path is a straight line, and I just twist by 30 degrees, start to finish.
I mean, I guess you can do a cut sweep on a cylindrical surface, can't you?
Oh, certainly.
Sure.
Yeah. And you can do a cut sweep on a curvy surface too.
Yeah, so to get that pineapple, ridge, you just run some sweeps along longitude lines and some sweep cuts along latitude lines, and just plan your angles such so you get those nice trapezoidal facets.
God. All right. Does that work?
Super duper.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit longer and see if I can make something cool to show.
Mine just won't leave me alone right now.
Hey Cam, a little sidebar to your sketch, your SolidWorks sketch with the text.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen where you take a text and you attach it to that line like you have in your picture there, and you try to fully define that sketch, and even though the sketch line is fully defined and the text won't move, your sketch is still shown as underdefined?
I have seen that. Do you have an answer?
Yes, I do.
Gimme.
Can you open up that sketch?
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Take the screen back too.
Oh yeah, let me take the screen back.
It's pretty simple. And when I came across it a while ago, it was like, you got to be kidding me.
All right, which one should I do?
What the
Cylinder,
what?
sphere, or what?
Just any of those SolidWorks sketches. So edit the sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if you fully define that line, it would still show up as undefined. But disconnect the text from the line
Okay.
so that it's not attached to it.
Disconnect the text from the line so it's not attached to it.
Right, so select the text, get rid of that line.
Okay.
Yep. Now lock the text down. So like take the corner point and like attach it to the line. That is fully defined. Or anywhere, it doesn't really matter, but I would attach it to the line.
Or the origin, either way.
What if you want it centered though?
It just has to be locked. And then you attach it to the line. So the text itself needs to be locked in place before you attach it to the sketch entity.
Okay. That's weird. I was still struggling to fully define.
Yeah, you got to fully define, every time.
Toby.
So bummed I missed his live performance last night.
Yeah, no, I
His last?
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sang
Most
his
recent.
song live last night.
He pulled a ukulele out and played live last night.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I'd known Cam wasn't going to be there, I would have competed. I didn't make it either, Cam.
Yeah. Well, so last night he did the beginner surfacing for beginners virtual user group meeting.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one. Is everybody watching me goof around with this?
Yeah. We are.
Yeah. Let's move on.
And so anyways, the basic premise is just to lock the text down with that point and then attach it later.
For some reason, I cannot get that point to release itself from the origin anymore. I look like a putz.
Cam, you've got that dimension attached to it.
Yeah, remove that 11-inch dimension.
How do you fully define the point to the line?
It's still not doing it. Every time I try to grab it and move it, it reattaches to the origin.
Just delete it. Put it back in.
Yeah, no kidding. Doing.
Stop fighting it.
What's happening?
Trust your feelings, Luke. Use the force.
My cameras are being dumb.
These are not the sketches you're looking for.
Now, we do a lot of text at work, and I've seen that over the years, and I finally spent I don't know how long on it. And what's interesting, if you place the text in one area and then your line is in another area, I noticed a point where the text was originally placed, and that's how I came across it.
Gotcha.
I've had that same experience, John, and solved it the same way, but I still don't understand why it is the way it is. Sometimes you just go with it.
Yeah, it's got to be something with the font inside that command when you attach it to the line. It doesn't understand that it's now can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Bye, Riffle.
Thanks,
Bye, Dan.
Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Bye.
All right.
How many more questions you got?
I think it's like maybe one.
I've got one came in text also.
It's one plus that one. All right, and this one is easy. Why is my BOM not updating when I add parts to my model or remove them or change them? What gives? Not you. So here I've got an example of a very simple assembly. And I've got my BOM. It's a real BOM. It's not a dummy table or anything. It's not locked. Nothing is wrong with it. you know, everything is basically at the default. But I can go into my model, and nothing in the table is overridden either. Nothing is manually input. And I'll just do the easy thing, and I will just increase the quantity of my parts. So I've got kind of a lot of everything. And I'll go back to my table. Nothing changed. Control Q, nothing changed. It's a real bomb. It's not overridden, it's not locked. What's the problem? There's a very obscure option in document properties, under tables, under bill of materials, all the way down at the bottom for automatic updates. And if you don't have this thing checked, you get one dumb bomb and then nothing can change after that.
Well, isn't that special?
So I click OK, I control Q. Yeah, don't show.
Wow.
Now I've got an updating bomb.
Why is that not automatically set?
It is, but people seem to have found ways to corrupt it or turn it off or something.
Oh, okay.
By default, it should be set, but there's an option there that has tripped people up. Great April Fool's joke setting. I like that. I think maybe that should be our next like show and tell. What are all our best April Fool's settings to screw with people?
Oh, there we go.
I like that.
Flip their monitor when they walk away.
It was a Control Alt sideways to get rid of that. Yeah, you can also have a lot of fun with colors.
Yeah, for us colorblind people.
Oh, Jeff. Maybe make this the paper color.
Oh,
ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
nice. It burns. It burns.
Yeah, we'll collect a few for next time. Now, what was the original?
Whatever happened to the drawing background that had the coffee mark on it? When was that? 2012 or something?
I remember
8?
that.
Remember the forum went crazy when they put that out of there, how stupid they thought SOLIDWORKS was to put that on there.
I loved it.
It lasted a year, I guess.
I would like that.
It should have been an Easter egg that showed up every 100 times.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cam, you said you had a new question?
Yeah. So the question is, within SOLIDWORKS, what tools are available to help with design for 3D printing? Things such as advanced wire structures and lattice structures.
All right. I can say some things. I don't know if you can see, but my printer is running in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cindo. Hail Cindo.
Yeah. And their proprietary stuff. Let's see, what's a good?
Did you ever finish all your helmets, Dan?
I got a bunch done. I still have to print a Master Chief and paint a Black Panther.
I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to see them all.
I'm working on my full-size Skyrim helmet, which is what's being printed right now.
Oh,
all right, so I forget what exactly it's called. Print 3D, yeah. So there is a setting or a tool directly in SOLIDWORKS that you can connect to most printers. I don't even know if I've ever tried it on mine. The plane, and then, all right, so my bottom face is, let's say, right here. Oh, interesting, because it's offset to geometry. There we go, perfect. So then I can say, all right, this is a, I think mine's 200 by 200 by 185. So you put in your printer stuff, you can orient your model, blah, blah, blah. This is sort of the print stuff. But then you've got analysis options on the second tab. So, you know, what requires support? Literally everything. Maybe this is a bad model to use, actually. You know, how tall are my layers? That's a very small layer. Wait, no, it's a very large layer. What am I talking about? And then you can see what it might actually look like. It'll preview the actual layer lines. So if I make that bigger, and you know, it's literally just a graphic overlay. Oh, this face doesn't need support. There we go. And that one.
Yeah, this year back in February, right before World, those of you that might have seen some of the pictures from the CAD Monkey dinner where Lynn Allen was sporting her Wonder Woman tiara. That was a model that I had 3D printed for her right before I flew down, and you know, I'd just been so swamped at work, I hadn't got time to get it printed out. I'd been meaning to, and so it's like the night before my flight is heading out, and I'm like, okay, what's the fastest way that I can get this printed? And so when I drop the model in, I use this tool exactly to get it arranged and positioned by letting it figure out everything to come up with the best orientation to get the fewest supports, because I had to print it, I had to get it sanded nice and smooth and then spray painted before and have it dried before I got on the airplane. So
nice.
Yeah, this right here, it's a pretty straightforward tool, but it's got a lot of powerful features in it to, you know, help you, you know, determine a good orientation, that, you know, minimal supports or fastest printing or what have you.
Yeah, like here, this is going to be sort of based on your printer, but you know, what's your support angle? You know, what's your horizontal angle required and stuff like that. Some other things that aren't exactly 3D printing tools, but are kind of meant for 3D printed parts. There is a tool now for creating real threads, not cosmetic or just thread callouts. I do not use them for production quality threads. Interesting. But now you can actually cut physical threads that can be printed. Let's see, start there, end there. Or just through all.
Yeah, I really wish they stated that in the help that those are specific for 3D printing, not to use them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I guess that little pop-up was all about that. So what am I doing here? I don't know. There's a lot of options to choose from. And I think this curved face isn't doing me any favors. Yeah, there we go. So it automatically kind of chooses the thread size based on the hole you selected. This is a very tiny hole, so I'm not getting a lot of help. Yeah, so up to selection or number of revolutions or whatever. You get the idea. You put in whatever parameters you think you need, and it'll create these for printing. Probably try not to print a number 0 thread on an FDM printer. What else? I feel like I'm missing some stuff. Mark.
I have a question. So why is that only for 3D printing? What's the deal with the threads being different on a real part?
Because for a real part, all you need is a thread callout and a tap. You can't really machine it in. I mean, you certainly can, but any helical feature is a huge drain on SOLIDWORKS or on parasolid models in general. So there's no reason not to use it, except it'll slow you down and it's not really necessary.
Gotcha.
It's a sales tool.
Yeah, it's the oh wow factor. Hey, Mike Sparling's got a question about importing step files. So
Absolutely.
what you wondering about, Mike?
Well, when I started working here in Texas, the particular SolidWorks that I'm working on does something funny with step files. It's now linking the step file to the part, and I can't seem to separate it so that I can have a dumb solid that I can then manipulate.
It's almost as though they're interconnected
3D, maybe? Three-dimensionally?
in 3D.
Well, normally before when I import a step file, it just comes in as a dumb step file, and then I'm able to do everything. Now, if I pull in an assembly, it's got all these embedded layers, and I don't know how to turn it off.
What you have there is 3D interconnect.
Oh.
In your options under import, this is relatively new, so this probably happened after you upgraded to 2018.
Yeah, I think it was
2018
2018 that added that.
It was a rude awakening.
Surprise!
Yeah, so now on by default. I wonder if I have a step file easily available to check with. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so when I have it on, it'll read it very quickly. No long translation errors, translation times. Basically never had an issue with import diagnostic failures when using this. But you're right, it's still linked directly to that model. And while there's a dumb body underneath it, basically the point of this is that I can then go back into Windows Explorer, overwrite my model, my step file with something of the exact same name, and come back in, and this will have updated. So it is linked. I can also say right-click dissolve feature. That'll turn it into a step file or a dumb model pretty quickly. Break link cannot be undone. And then I have my dumb imported solid. And I think that is still even longer than, or still even shorter than importing it as a direct step file. Importing it as an interconnect and then dissolving it usually works better and is faster than importing it as a step. But if you really hate it completely, you can turn this off. Bring it in again. And so now it's parsing and processing rather than just reading it.
Doing gluing and stitching and everything.
So it seems like somebody just did a tutorial on this not too long ago, virtually here.
Yeah, I missed it.
It was really good because he talked about some of the same stuff, Dan, where there was a size of the model that, you're better off to go one way than you are to go the other way for speed-wise.
Well, it makes perfect sense in an assembly where you have 15 of the same part and it tries to create a separate file for each part. That makes sense.
Yeah, that too. You're still self-contained in that case. Yeah, I don't know if I have an assembly.
I wonder if you get the same option to re-import the step file.
What?
Hey, Mike.
He's doing actual work over there.
Good Lord.
Australian noise down there.
Sorry, am I getting feedback? I'll mute myself. I was just going to say, if you're using interconnect, the file sizes tend to increase about 3 or 4 times the size.
Well, what I was wondering is if you could re-import the step file if you go from a 3D interconnect, dissolve it, just like you can with that imported file, you can re-import the IGES or step file if you get a new one.
No, so the whole point of 3D interconnect is when you update that model, anything you have mated to it or any features you created and on top of that model, those will be retained. If you re-import it, it won't.
No, I'm saying after you dissolve it, if you were to just take a normal step file or IGES file and create a SolidWorks dumb file out of it, you can re-import that step file. you basically you edit the context of the dumb solid and bring the same exact file in.
Yeah, but once your faces change though, once your face IDs and edge IDs change.
I do think yeah, Steve, I do believe that that's been my experience, that the face IDs go schmooey, whereas with the 3D interconnect, it does a much better job of mapping that.
So if I import a dumb step file and then I make some edits to it, and then my base dumb step file changes, that's it. I have to recreate everything I've done. If I do it with 3D interconnect and then my base step file changes, this feature will still be okay.
Right click on your imported one body and edit the definition. Top one. Yep. What's that say? Future. So now you could go grab that file that you originally, and you can update it that way. The thought process is that the internal IDs, as long as the file is created, it's supposed to keep all the face IDs and everything. I've had various luck with it.
Yeah.
3D interconnect is better if you can keep those files native, but if you can't keep them native, this is another alternative.
I had a situation where I had a step file of an assembly and I wanted one lousy part out of that thing and I couldn't separate it and it was driving me insane.
Interesting. So this is no button.
Yep.
Should I do that?
The sad thing is that that's been there for a long time.
Schmooey. Schmooey.
So you don't have to like take an IGES file, make a brand new file with the same name and bring it in. You do have a chance to get the same ID, face IDs, and not lose all your mates.
What percentage of the time does that work, do you think?
Interesting.
Approximately.
Depends on the complexity of the model, I think. My models tend to be that I'm dealing with tend to be more let's see, swoopy
curvy.
Swoopy curvy, so I tend to have more problems.
Okay.
Interesting. These were two totally different exports. One was just a different config. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Right on.
Just a tidbit.
Cool.
That's a tidbit.
I have just a tidbit. I can pop back over to the one we were looking at earlier. So,
hey,
I don't know what to do with this. I want you guys to see. So I went in here and I just started by making just a single row, and then I patterned it up and patterned it again, and I've gone past 13 and it failed, and I've gone past 8 rows or 4 pairs of rows and it failed. The reason I have this one set to construction geometry is to show you this. I switch it back, exit the sketch, fails. Even if I go just one more box, nope.
I bet it's because it's 263 boxes and not 262. 262 is the magic threshold.
Yeah.
We always thought it was 42. Now we know it's 262.
Exactly.
Right on.
What if
I don't know how I would actually do this in a way that would, and it's obviously my spacing was all messed up, but I don't know how I would do this in a way that would make it actually like wrap all the way around. If I can't even go another layer up, I thought at first when I mapped it, because it's, I'll exit the sketch so you can see what it tells you. So when I first started it, my very first box was at the center. And so when I patterned it, the center of my sketch was off the part, and it failed because it told me the center of mass of my sketch needed to be over the real body. So what I've done then was keep bumping up the pattern until I failed and then back off and try something different. So if you look right here in the middle, obviously it's deformed because this is supposed to be a square.
Now we're dealing with map projections.
Right. But as you move up, it deforms it more on the top side than on the bottom. Like these edges down here are longer at 1.37 than this edge up here at 1.27. So it's deforming everything as it wraps. And I was just thinking that, in order to get full coverage of the sphere, I would have to change my sketch to be more of a round pattern so that it would, kind of wrap properly.
Right.
But no matter where I add another box, no matter if it's on the edges or in the center or wherever, it's one more box fails everywhere.
Got a
The
question.
whole thing. Go ahead.
What if you increase the pattern and make it all construction, and then do another cut using the contours that are for construction? At least then it would be following the same sketch.
Oh, I see. Yeah, extend the pattern and then take the whole top of it to.
Yeah, make it
okay.
And would it be easier to do like half a sphere or a quarter of a sphere and then pattern that?
Right.
Yeah, that was going to be my next. So what I think I would do is actually make an eighth of a sphere, and so I can map it directly. So I know how long the curve is around the center, the circumference. I can map my curve length and know exactly how it's going to map. But that way, when I mirror, I know everything is symmetrical. Because I think this way of doing it is just a nightmare.
Cam, what if you attacked it instead of trying to make the bumps? Why not make the cuts into the sphere? So you're making the lines instead of the bumps.
All righty.
We could be here a while.
This could take a while.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm thinking like the basketball example where you're doing the rings in the basketball.
Oh, there you go.
Because then with the cuts, you can cut over another cut. It won't error out. But with the bumps, you're gonna get some errors because the bumps can't be in the same space.
Right. Okay.
It's just gonna be hard once it gets down to that pole.
Yeah.
I wonder if, Cam, could you wrap it back up around there?
One more try.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't change it. Wrap it back up around where, Eric?
Just get it back so that it's the model itself and not the sketch.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm going to try this to see if it fails. All right. So we know that's still not working.
I'm blowed up.
All right. Tree of Blood.
I know, that's next month.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I'll be happy.
I know. I would yell at anybody if I ever saw them put that complex of a sketch together.
It's a bad sketch.
I wonder now, if you were to take that northern ice cap there that's still smooth, if you were to use something like the surface flatten command to extract that into a flattened form, you might have to split line it, since it's
okay,
all one surface there, maybe around some latitude line or something. And then if you flatten that out, you could use that as the flattened pattern that you could map out the remaining pattern and create a sketch then that is targeted to that surface that should hopefully wrap down around it.
All right.
It's also interesting that
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting that the top of your diamonds aren't all at the same latitude.
Right.
Yeah, there's a curve to
it. It could be the way he's got it placed, or the way
it's the placement, because you remember it's looking at the center of mass of the sketch.
That's right. Okay.
And it's going to map it to the center of the sphere from that point.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if you guys wanted to watch me butts around with
You
this.
need to do a fill pattern or something.
Right. Nope.
What you might need to do is cut a sliver out of your sphere. But no, that's a bad idea. Because you need some boundaries on that face.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can't you just do a split line and cut it into make it a surface and then unfold everything, and then add the texture then?
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. If
Right.
you take that surface, Cam, do you have premium?
Yeah.
That you have the surface flatten?
Mm-hmm. I'd have to delete a face, make it a surface, and then flatten it. Because this is all a solid body right now.
Can you surface flatten the entire sphere and do your sketch that way?
You have to have a split line from top to bottom, right, in order to flatten it?
Do a knit command.
Yeah,
Roll up before your diamonds and do a knit.
Roll up before my diamonds. Why would I do a knit? Hang on.
Because it's a hidden feature.
Yeah, I'm learning. All right. Knit.
Yeah, surfaces knit.
That's not how you spell knit, guys.
GNIT.
After a few drinks, it looks fine to me, Kim.
Looking good. Come knit.
Silly English knigget.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Click OK.
Good go.
Pretty sure that's all it needs.
Okay.
Now you don't. Yeah, you have one surface body.
You have one surface body. Yep.
Cool.
Now
gotta
you
hide
want to
your
flatten
solid.
it first?
Your solid is still there, so you gotta hide that.
Oh. Then it's going to apply that to the solid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you do a
No, you'll need to unfold it.
Aha.
I'm thinking.
How do you refold it?
Right. Hide the body.
I've never actually used the wrap command. I mean, the unfold command like that before.
Okay. So sketch on the top plane. Yes. Sketch. I need to do a split liner, correct?
Maybe.
Am I?
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah. Okay.
What did that say? Does not split.
Okay.
So do it all the way from top and bottom.
Right.
Or do a V.
Just wanted to go past the edge and try it one more time. Okay. So a V.
Maybe like a very tiny sliver of a V.
All right. Now let's do it. All right. Okay. Now, surface. Where is flatten? Did I see it?
Halfway over.
It's right above the SolidWorks and SolidWorks add-ins. Right there you go.
Ah.
Vertex or point to flatten from.
Huh. I think I'm gonna have to do that, right? Just thinking about it.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Look at that.
Does it give you the stress plot of that?
If you edit the feature, the surface flatten feature, you can turn those highlightings on, and they'll show you the deformations.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say high.
Yeah.
It's
pretty cool.
But that's not the deformation.
Oh,
So maybe
okay.
you're
Well, I'm
trying
trying to remember. There is a deformation preview, and I'm blanking on what toggles it now.
So when you do this, are you going to do a fill?
Yes, I was going to do a fill.
That's what I would have guessed, but you're going to get some irregular patterning around the surface when you wrap it back up, I think.
Yeah.
Almost certainly.
Thank you, Tracy. Right-clicking on the flatten surface will give us the stretch mapping. Thank you, Tracy.
She's the best.
There we go.
She was going to be my answer earlier when you said the best way to learn. Go to Tracy.
The beginning of classes always involves Trogdor. You can ask Cam.
Yep, that's why I said that. First time I ever walked into a classroom at a VAR. Like I'm walking I turn down a hallway. At the end of the hallway, there's a whiteboard in the classroom, and it's literally got a perfect rendition of Trogdor on a whiteboard. I just yelled Trogdor from down the hall and ran. I was like, I knew this is my happy place. All right, so why am I not doing a pattern here? Because I'm not thinking. So what am I going to do? Split line, yeah? Now, can I?
Do you want to do a trim? That might help.
Trim. How?
I mean, instead of a split line, just trim the surface away. Then you have to deal with like base normals and whatnot.
What, for remapping this back onto the sphere?
Possibly. I don't even know if we can do that.
Yeah, I was wondering myself.
Well, what I'm thinking is if somehow you get that area filled in, then you're gonna have to do potentially, and I'm just probably talking crazy talk here. You get that area all filled in, and you then create a massive convert entity sketch that you then use as your wrapping sketch.
I doubt SOLIDWORKS can handle it, but theoretically.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
why we get paid by the hour.
You gotta select your big face for the boundary and your little face for the selected features.
Where am I seeing? Where's boundary? Oh,
at the top.
I see. Yeah, I'm not.
Some of us get paid by the hour, Eric, not all of us.
Well, for those of you that don't, I pity you.
Wow. It just keeps going down and down.
You guys actually get paid?
Good one, Joe. Good one.
Not right now. This is for fun.
So I'm getting paid, John.
What was that, Mike?
I'm getting paid now.
Yeah, Mike's at work.
I'm at work.
For a change.
That's harsh.
Change your edge direction thingy.
Fortunately, I'm still at work, but as salaried, I don't think I'm technically getting paid. It's payment enough to see you guys and learn.
There you go.
Right.
Wow. He was on.
You are rich in knowledge.
That's
He
it.
deserves some brownie points for that one.
Body selected for feature scope.
Yeah, I was in a 4-hour PLM demo today, so this is gravy.
What PLM program was it?
I probably shouldn't say, but it wasn't the one we all know so well, put it that way.
Yeah.
Don't say windshield.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
Agile.
Team Center.
Nope.
I've seen
All
that
right,
done.
guys. I throw in the towel.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this particular model anymore.
I mean, let's all watch the golf ball demo and see what we make of that.
All right.
Wasn't there a golf ball demo a couple of years back that was pretty close to this? Showed you how to do that. It seemed like to me there was a lot easier way of doing this.
John put one in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I guess that one had like a bunch of normal. I didn't go through it. I just Googled it because I remembered something. Had a bunch of normal, the divots or the dimple in the golf ball was normal to the surface. So being a sphere, if each entity is normal to the surface, you have a better chance of symmetry.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what Daniel said, you do it in quarters or eighths or something. It'd be a whole lot easier to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go quite far along. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if I was going to do this, I would actually work from the inside out. I would create a sketch inside, project it out as a surface, and then do an intersection line and pattern from there. And
yeah,
I don't like doing the outside surface stuff.
I would just do a whole bunch of balls and then do the sphere and then just intersect them.
Intersect them all.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
How do you get the
Yeah.
balls there?
Subtract.
Coordinate system. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I watched a tennis ball one that you can see there. Tutorial 163 tennis ball. I watched that before. That was fun.
Here's a different golf ball. All right, so he's patterning.
There you go.
Make one new one.
Okay, now when we post this episode on YouTube, are we going to get a takedown notice because we've got
Copyrighted
this
somebody?
Is getting,
We've
yeah,
YouTube
this
to
is
YouTube.
getting meta here. Yeah.
So wait, he's doing.
We should play some Led Zeppelin over in the background so we really get hit.
Oh, for sure, sure.
Royalties.
He's doing a new circular pattern for every bump.
Oh man, he's
And they're
getting
all
paid by the
15
hour.
degrees apart.
We like to call them dairy farmers. Milking it.
No kidding.
Hey, I just Googled it and just, came across the first one and kind of, it said SOLIDWORKS tutorial, but who knows who did it.
Yeah.
If you want a good laugh, go on YouTube and look up learn how to use SOLIDWORKS in 5 minutes. The video is 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
He did them individually so he can circular pattern each one.
Yep.
All right. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah,
Look at
this
this
was from 2016, so I mean, they're
pretty old.
Nice.
Are any of you guys golfers?
Yep.
Not professionally.
Years and years ago, and I mean
no.
years and years ago, I was using Unigraphics, and I took a freeform modeling class, and 2 guys from Callaway Golf were in there. And this is back when the Big Bertha just came out. I mean, literally just came out, or second version of it, whatever. We asked them about the geometry and all the technology behind the face, and of course the guy said, "Well, somebody just stands over our shoulder and says, make it look more like this." And he's, so it wasn't any. There's no geometry or math behind it. It just says somebody goes, "No, make it look like this."
Yeah.
Okay.
Just push that just a smidge more that way.
It's almost like that. Yeah, make it look like that.
Yeah.
They should be using X shape.
Digital clay.
Pinch and pull.
Alrighty, so do we got any more questions, or was that? Oh, Merry Christmas with that one.
Cool.
Last week, Dan was showing us how to do exported 3D models into PowerPoint.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Dan Wagner.
Dan Wagner, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been able to do it into PDFs, but I haven't figured out how to do it into PowerPoint.
What was it? Now it's insert object. To one of these two. I don't know where I have any drawings right now. Oh no. Well, never mind. Whoops.
Whoa.
You can do that, and you can also, if you have Composer Reader, you can put a Composer file in.
You can do an SVG file, I know that.
Yeah, he was
From
doing
Composer.
like a save as 3D PDF.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
Really well.
3D PDFs are fun.
But then I thought
but
I thought he
again,
put it into PowerPoint. Maybe I'm wrong.
I bet
He did. It was kind of cool.
It was. Was that an export out of MBD or did?
I don't remember. I guess I could go back and watch that week's session.
There it is.
Should be on the platform.
Right on.
Oh, right. I need to open this in Adobe.
Why is Michael's last name all caps? Michael Lord.
Oh, who you
Does he
work
work
for?
for SolidWorks now?
Yeah.
He's lording it over you.
Oh, goodness.
Just do a
now
screen
you've
capture like 3/4 of the world does.
You know, while we're talking here, Eric, I've been playing with this Chroma Cam, and it does have a file size limitation on the pictures you could use.
Yeah.
I was trying to pull up SolidWorks world pictures and 3D experience world pictures, and they're all too big.
Yeah, I think it's limited to a 4K image size.
Wow, that's small.
Insert.
Or 4K in terms of 39 or however many pixels wide by tall is what defines a 4K field of view. And I found that because I was trying to find that out too, and I forget where I Googled to find the info on it.
Dan, is it all
It's
right
like-
if I hijack the screen for a minute?
Please do, because apparently saving a 3D PDF has bricked my machine.
Boom. Well, as Alan points out, that means we got stumped.
Yep, a crash is a stump.
I didn't have a question.
Do I get a T-shirt?
Right? I got a couple of these.
Virtual high five.
Right? So there was a tip. There's opposing tips from a lot of tips and trick sessions. A lot of people love the S key, bringing up the shortcut bar. I myself am a big fan of the context menu. So, you know, you right click this area up here. You can customize it as well, just like the shortcut bar. But I found that I wanted to use the shortcut bar more, and I heard somebody say that they would go into the mouse gestures and
Put the S key in there.
Yeah, so that control panel up there at the top. Yep. Yoda sucks. All right, so yeah, go in here and customize your mouse gestures so that your S key is in there. But you know what? They failed to mention the S key is not mappable. What you have to actually do is do the keyboard shortcut, the shortcut bar. So that's what you actually have to map there. So search for shortcut bar, drag that to wherever you want it to be. And that way, whenever you're in here and you drag to that, then it brings up. So
I should try that.
I'm using the mouse gestures all the time. And the bottom down and to the right, I just never really had a good thing to map to. I was using I put normal 2 there because it just seemed like something I would use sometimes. But
Yeah.
trying
I think
to
that's what I put there too.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Hey Cam, if you have a Logitech mouse, you can actually download the driver software for the mouse and set all your hotkeys in your actual mouse software. That's how I have my computer set up.
I do, but I think you're aware, Greg, that at work I can't put that stuff on the work computer, and I don't want there to be a difference between that computer and home, or I'm going to get used to it and not have it when I want it.
I find the mouse gesture is sort of like playing Halo against my son. Very, very hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, this comes up from time to time whenever you're talking about mouse gestures. The ability to bump it up to 12, and yeah, so I never did 2 or 3. I started with 4 when I first started using mouse gestures, and that's simple, but a little too simple. And I was using 8 until they came out with 12, and I was like, you know what? I'm all about quick, and I want to try this. It's not faster for me. I don't know about anybody else, but when I am trying to select something, I keep getting the wrong thing. It slows me down because now I have to do this and make sure that I'm going over the correct.
If they made it a little more responsive, I feel like I have to wait a couple seconds every time I do a mouse gesture, especially in drawings.
Yeah.
It's a generational thing. The younger generation will pick up on it.
Yep.
That's true. Once they get used to it, it's ingrained.
I still use toolbars.
Yeah, exactly.
I was having a conversation with Tom Smith, who, if anyone doesn't know, he's basically forever perpetual winner of Model Mania. I was talking to him about tips and tricks about how he gets fast. He doesn't do shortcuts. He doesn't do any of the. He still does everything the slowest possible way. He's got more mouse travel than you could believe. I've watched him, especially like if you go to Too Tall Toby's YouTube. One of the videos he's got in there is of the tournament that he did a few months back, and Tom Smith models live on screen, quite a few different models, and watching the way he models, there's more features, more sketches, more mouse travel. There's no way I could do that and not take 15 minutes for a part that he does in 3. I don't know how he's so fast doing it the slow way. Yeah.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I laugh. I saw Dan laugh at me when I said that, but my Unigraphics setup was the same way my SolidWorks is set up, and I never changed it. I just know where all the icons are at. I know where, it's just that simple to me. I got a guy at work that does nothing but keyboards. It's all his hands are on the keyboard. When he wants to do a line, he hits the L key.
Right.
He's an old AutoCAD user.
Well, he's like Todd. Todd is real good at it too. So.
Are you still running on Are you still running on a 386, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Bragger.
Well, don't laugh. I'm still on 15, man.
I was gonna say you got 286.
Oh no.
I'm still on 15, so.
Yeah, but
Windows
he's got the
95.
386, but he's trying to convince him to let him buy the math coprocessor chip.
It doubles it. It's a
Upgrades with
DX2.
Dorito.
Good
All
Weird
right,
Al
anybody
Now
else
that
pull.
we've all sufficiently dated ourselves.
Anybody else got a tip or trick they want to share?
All right.
Well, I'll give a shout out to Todd because he's right there in the middle of my screen. The one of the most favorite tips I've ever got, I got from Todd. I don't know if Todd actually created it or not, but if you just hit the S key and then start typing in a word like fillet, you're automatically searching for it. I just think that's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You need
Then
to
you
get
can
out
drag
more.
it wherever you
I know.
I was gonna sneak that in tonight.
I know. I need to get out more. Thank you, Dan.
That wasn't me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
This time.
Yeah, he said, "Thank you, man."
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, John.
All right.
All
I think that's a
righty.
pretty good night.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good night indeed. So again,
No, I was
let's
really hoping we'd go long, so I wouldn't have to go downstairs and see the debate.
Put the mute button. I
We
need
can
to
stay
see the
on.
mute button.
We can stay on.
I'd much rather sit here and look at you guys and
My
drink
ears are
beer.
hurting. I can't take
Well,
any
I
more
can
of this
ask
thing.
another question.
Well, look at the
Go
time.
Thank you
hear
very
my
much.
mother calling.
My park's gonna
Guys,
be
this is
up
my
soon.
first time here, and I really
My
enjoyed it.
mother's calling.
Really
I'm
cool.
staying on.
Oh, we got a first time here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's very cool what you guys are doing. Hopefully
Awesome.
next
Thank
time
you.
I'll have some questions for you guys because I know I have them.
Next time.
Yeah.
Tune in for
so,
SWUGN.
Hey, do
let's
we have?
talk about that.
Yeah. Do we have a slide that has the? Can we bring that submission slide back up? Because didn't that have the email on it for?
So my Explorer is just constantly crashing and rebooting. So you might have to open it on your end.
Okay. All righty.
My tip is don't save 3D PDFs, apparently.
Ah. Let's see if I
Mine works
can
fine.
pull that up here. Hold on.
Any of y'all on Twitter? Yeah.
A few of us are on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You may not want to hear some of us.
Yeah.
No, wait for the
where the
recap
heck?
in the morning.
There we go.
Hey, Eric, is it okay if I share our
Oh, go for it.
our Slug Me Fat splash screen?
Go for it.
I have company.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Nice.
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
That's fancy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Ryan Rudy made the for us.
Yeah. So our next Stump the Chumps meeting is part of Slug Me, and that's not my computer doing that, is it?
Nope.
Yeah, so our next Stump the Chump meeting is going to be, as Eric mentioned before, almost 1 month from now, just a few days shy of a month from now, at Slug Me 5. You're going to have two presenters. First, Eric is going to present on SOLIDWORKS Connected, and then Ed Eaton is going to present a presentation called Trees of Blood, which was very well received in Nashville at World. And
And to add, just to add to that about Ed Eaton's, if you saw Trees of Blood in Nashville or Ed do it before, this is a whole brand new revamped rendition of it. So
I didn't realize.
Yep,
I was a little
he
bummed. I
shared
actually
that
kind of wanted
with
to do the
us.
same one again.
So yeah, if you've seen him do it before, he was real enthusiastic that this is going to be something new, cool, and totally outrageous. So again, don't think, oh, I've seen that one before. This sure is us. You're going to see something new there. And that is November 17th. And again, I call myself Ed Eaton's opening act. I won't call myself a Slug Me presenter. I'll just say I'm the warm-up band for Ed Eaton. And then after Ed's presentation, we'll be doing another abbreviated session of Stump the Chumps with a very special guest that I think everyone will really enjoy
Definitely
having.
not letting the cat out of the bag on that one.
Yep, nope, not at all. I mean, some of you might remember that session or two back we had Toby Schnartz as a special guest chump. Well, again, we're upping the guest factor, but definitely not the chump factor.
We've had two special guests. We had Richard too.
Yes, we did have Richard.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That took a little finagling. I was a little disappointed that he used it as a pitch. Yeah.
Well, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I should have known. Oh, well. Anyway, so sign up for Slug Me, and we'll see you guys all on the 17th.
Hey, is anybody doing Slug Me shirts this year?
They need to be this color though.
Well, okay, so we weren't going to let the cat out of the bag on that, but or not to now. So the guys at SolidWorks who have been working with us to produce this, they had the idea to provide the Slug Me committee with shirts so that we could wear them for the broadcast. Now, I'm going to I have already asked that they have extras, but we need to see if that's something that we can actually purchase, because I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people who want them.
I'm going to be extremely disappointed if I don't get one.
Don't worry, Eric, tell him. I already emailed. I said Todd needs one.
Yeah, Todd, you're handled. Yeah. Yeah, that
for one, you might as well
was. Yep.
Say it again.
I agree.
I missed it.
No. Well, we'll have to. Let's see. Dan Wagner's driving that effort, so yeah, we'll ping him. Maybe, maybe that'll help. Drive the shirt acquisition forward that much more if.
They could set up a store.
Unknown market. Yeah.
Can we get it in a polo?
Yeah, I'm sure people would be willing to buy them.
Giveaway items or something, maybe, prizes.
Yeah, that's
true. Like coupon codes to the store.
There you go. These are good ideas. Eric and I will share them.
Yep, we will pass them forward indeed.
Although a few of us may not want to wear shirts that say "Slug Me" on them, but
well, people, it's going to be a conversation starter.
Yeah, maybe on the back you can say something like it's an event, not an imperative.
You do
Plug me
slug
here.
masks.
Plug me right there.
All right. Well, if they don't do it, I will.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
We gotta run, guys. Thanks for meeting.
All right.
Hey,
Till next time,
Thanks,
everybody.
Michael.
Thanks,
Alrighty.
guys. Great meeting,
Thank you
guys.
for coming. And
Goodbye.
again, don't forget, folks, the chat log is in your documents folder, so where you can gather all the URLs and Twitter handles that have been posted in there.
And we'll upload this to YouTube.
Yep, and we'll have this on YouTube by tomorrow evening.
Awesome job, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming,
everybody.
Thanks for coming, Joe.
Gotta roll.
Take care.
See
Good night,
y'all.
John Boy.
Hey, guys.
Good night, John Boy.
Night, Jim Bob. Night, Mary Ellen. Night,
All you
Joe. Night,
old people.
Elizabeth.
Hey, I resemble that.
You,
All
you
right.
and me both, man. You and me
Good
both.
night.
See you guys.
We'll see you, Joe.
Bye. It was nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you, Kaylin, as well. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself.
Oh, I definitely did. This was really cool.
Oh, great.
All right, on.
So were you the one that was asking from a question about the Houston area? I came in at the end of someone asking a question somewhere about a user group in Houston area.
Oh, that was Mark Peterson.
Okay,
The fellow who's asking the master modeling questions.
got it. Okay,
Yeah.
follow up with them. Okay, excellent.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, Daniel.
Later.
Bye,
See you,
everybody.
Don. See you, Michael.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hit the stop on the record button, and we'll get this processing and get it up on YouTube by tomorrow.
Sweet.
Trying to end
You gonna
it.
trim it?
Yep. And
Cool.
we're out.